Our project today is how to adjust a door bottom shoe or a door shoe, whatever. What is a door shoe anyways? Well, usually you have it on an exterior door, and this is a door going from the house into a garage, or you'll have it a door. Sometimes you'll have it, well, generally like a front door too. You'll have a door shoe there, and usually a door from here going out into the garage. You usually have a threshold here. There's all kinds of different thresholds. This one happens to be raised just right here. See? Then it drops down, tapers down. And usually your front doors will be like that too. And on most, they have a door shoe, and that adjusts. The door shoe is like a U-shaped dealio, see? Like that. It's one piece. It's got a drip edge on the outside. And usually that's for exterior, like your front door. If it rains, water comes down, that's a drip edge. It drips over, drops off of that. Okay, but for the sake of this, it's just a sturdy flange here that allows you to install and secure your door shoe. And this particular door shoe is only installed on this side. See how the trim is only this tall on the inside, and it goes all the way across. There's no screws in it, is there? Now in some door shoes, you might have a side on this side that's a little taller. Maybe you've got screws on both sides. Most of them are kind of like this. I've even seen some door shoes that are this with just the bottom with no side. So when you close the door, you see the bottom edge of the door over here and a slight little gap between that and the rest of the shoe. But for all purposes, I like the door shoe that goes all the way like that. You just have to be careful when you install it, because you have to slide it in. You won't want to get it up too high and scratch the edge of the door and all that kind of stuff. And then it's this particular one has the rubber gasket on it that's tapered. It's got all these fins on there, and I like that kind. There's other kinds, but this is the particular one we have. Okay, so when you close the door, you should hear it. Hear it? That's the feelers pushing on here, and then they fold up, and that gives you a nice tight seal. The reason why I have to adjust this one is look underneath the door. See, there's a gap right there, tapers down to nothing. I see another little air gap right there for two reasons. What do you suppose? My two reasons are you have a seal there so that you don't have cold air from your garage or outside coming into your house, number one. You've got weather stripping on the sides. You want to have weather stripping there. Or if you have little bugs, a nice little place for little bugs to crawl through there. Mainly for air though, okay? So how to adjust this? We're not installing this. This is already a pre-installed one. You see, we've got those screws there. Hey, there's a screw right there. There's one here. So to adjust this, and I'm hoping that they installed this so that I can adjust it, is I'm gonna undo those screws now. Let's just keep the camera going so you see that there's no tricks. And I'm gonna go ahead and undo these screws. I don't have to take them out. First off, I'm just gonna loosen them up. Okay. And I'm going to loosen all of them except maybe the last one. Okay? Or maybe I can loosen that up just a little, not very much, because I want this to swivel from here down. All right? So the thing is with these, with the door shoes, they all have, it's not just one hole. It's a slot. So if the installer was doing it properly, and if there was enough room on the bottom of the door, this screw should be installed on the center of the slot so that if I have to adjust it, I can move it up or lower it without redoing these screws. Okay? Now, we'll just see if I can get this down by kind of moving this, and it felt like it went down a little bit. See? Okay. I'm gonna kind of pry down on that a little bit. Now I'm gonna see if that's enough. I'll get you back down here. We'll just keep the camera rolling. And see, look at that. See, there's no gap there now. But look, see, there's still a little bit right there, isn't there? So, theory has it that that's got to come down a little bit more. And in order for that to come down a little bit more, I may have to tap this side down a little bit. Get out here and see if I can't wiggle this down a little bit. Just a hair. Okay, it can move. It's only moving a little bit. And see, if somebody undercut this door too far, maybe you have to, there's a certain amount of clearance you need for adjustment. You look, when you go to the hardware store, you look at that and it will tell you how much of a gap, before you install this, how much of a gap between your door threshold and the bottom of your door you need before you put your shoe on, so that you know you've got it enough. Because if you don't do that, if you cut the door too high, let's say, maybe this whole shoe has to go almost all the way down. You can barely even get a screw in it with no adjustment later on at all. You know what I mean? This one seems to have just a little bit of a flex. So I've lowered this side down as far as I can. I'm hoping not to have to do much else to this. In worst case scenario, if you had to, you'd have to slide it down, take the screws out all the way, and then you would have to hope that you had enough room on your door to pre-drill another hole, because you'll have to move this down even lower, you know, if you had to. Take the screws out all the way and then create a new hole, hopefully higher than the other screw that you've already put, so it doesn't strip and fall down into that hole. If you had to take the screws out, you could put a little stick in there, a little matchstick or something in the old hole to help keep your new hole from the screw dragging down. You know what I mean? I think you do. Okay, so, and there's only so far I want to do it, because I want this side to still cover the wood. And it's going to, because that just flexes. This whole thing kind of holds this other side. Hey. I don't know why she's coming in this side, but opening up that door. So, anyways, I'm gonna screw this in. Pulled that down, screwed that in. And this is one straight piece, so I think I've got it down low enough now. There's only so low I want to do it, because it might start hitting too much at this end. The floor could be off, a whole slew of things. But hey, look at that, look at there. No gap. I think I'm gonna call that good, Jackson. I like it. I like it a lot. Well, that's pretty much about the door shoe. You know, if you notice, when they installed it initially, they had to notch it to allow for the door side and for the door edge over here. What I generally like to do too, and they didn't do it here, is the rubber gasket usually is longer, so whatever gap I have between the edge of the door and the door jamb, I'll extend that out a little bit on both sides. Okay, so that way when you close the door, you see, over on that edge, you can see just a little bit of daylight through there. But had they have put the door seal and cut it just a little further, they would, 1/8 of an inch, 1/16 of an inch is all. Whatever the gap is here, 16th, they could have ran that over. You wouldn't see that, okay? I've seen other guys, they have a little piece of matting right here that they attach right there, right there. That takes that up. So if you have the stop there, if I wanted to fix that right now, I could take a little piece of that matting. I have to go to the hardware store and see what they had. And I would just attach it there. Even well, not like the tape-on foam weather stripping, but it's an actual little heavy little mat type stuff. And you cut it and just put one screw in it or glue it on there or whatever. That would take up that gap, and then you wouldn't have an air going through there. You see what I'm saying? But for our purposes, I'm done installing, readjusting that door shoe. Okay? I hope you learned something. Well, that's what I got for this time, but I'll be back with more videos. Speaking of more, what am I going to do next time? We've got this door shoe adjusted now properly. You can hear it all the way across here. It's tighter than it was before. There's no air coming down through there. My next project I'm going to do is I'm going to re-tighten up. I'm going to tighten back up the self-closing door hinges on this door. And this door has self-closing hinges because this is an exterior door. It's got weather stripping on it. And by code, did you know by code this door is supposed to close by itself to give you a seal in case you have a fire or something? This door should be a rated door. It should be like a 20-minute rated door. And I can't get up there high enough to see. There should be a label on top of the door. And sometimes they have it nailed on the edge of the door. There's nothing here, so there should be something up there. 20-minute rated door generally, and then it's weather stripped and it's self-closing. So in case there's ever a fire or something out in the garage or whatever, or vice versa, in the hallway or whatever, and you're trying to get out, protect something else. Either way, you have this is a rating now. This is a rated area. In fact, it's to keep fires from the garage coming into the house. Okay, that's why you have everything like this. You got a threshold, you got the door shoe on there, you've got weather stripping around this door, you got self-closing hinges on this door, one at the top, one at the bottom. You might have one in yours, two in yours, you might have three on yours. It depends. Your garage, on most garages is 5/8 sheetrock. All your interior walls are 1/2 inch. This gets you a rating. 5/8 sheetrock is like a 1 hour, well, it's a rated sheetrock. So you want type X 5/8 sheetrock. It generally is in the garage, all the walls in the ceilings. Okay? So now you're protected going in case there's a fire out in your garage or whatever. Okay, so that's why this has self-closing hinges. That's why I need to get them to work again. Can you use this door right now without retightening those up? Can you just leave it and say, okay, fine, I'm not going to mess with it? Yeah, you could. By code, it's not right. And lots of times, maybe you're coming in and out of the garage. I don't like it. Every time I open up the door to get the groceries in, the door closes on me. And I got 5 trips out there and the door closes 5 times. I'm just going to get rid of those self-closing hinges or whatever and take the pins out or do whatever I have to do and just leave it. Oh, that's way better. You know, you're not supposed to do that. Note to self. You're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to have this self-closing. So that's why I'm going to put these back on. I'm not sure if I can get them tight enough, but I'm going to try my best. If I have to, I'll get some different self-closing hinges because I like the ones with the wrench, an Allen wrench that you put in there and you can crank on it. This one doesn't have it. And if you watch my other video on how I adjusted this door, I had to adjust this door because it was sagging. I've already fixed that, and I had to disengage these. Watch that video. With this particular video, the next one coming up is how to tighten up your self-closing hinges. Hope to see you again on my channel.